welcome to my bartending page, The Storm of the Brain. My name is Acosta, and Valentine's Day is upon us. So you could be on the side of the spectrum where you're dandy and sweet. You've already pre-ordered your significant other's gifts. You've already picked out your local restaurant or bar that you're going to be ordering to-go cocktails or takeout. And to you I say, congrats on staying ahead of the curve. And for the other people that are on the side of the spectrum where you're doing some last minute shopping, and more specifically, still trying to get together a home cooked meal for you and your significant other, I'm also here to tell you, I'm here to help. Not on the cooking side, but with some cocktails. So the inspiration for actually me making this video comes from this book, Romantic Cocktails, written by Claire McLafferty. How I came across this book, I actually attended one of Claire's virtual webinars that was sponsored by Academia Patron last year, and she mentioned that she wrote this book, so definitely I was interested. Went ahead and bought a copy, and I mean it's a fun read. It's a fun read. Definitely, a lot of fun facts about how some ingredients that are in the cocktails here have had some aphrodisiac aspects to them that can trace back to ancient Greek cultures. So little fun facts that are kind of spread across the book. Definitely filled with a lot of just well-rounded cocktails, tasty cocktails. But I guess the fun factor of this book that really got me hooked was how Claire is kind of set up a spectrum. That basically each of these cocktails can fall on a spectrum. If you're on the romance spectrum of new crushes, I picked one for that. Anniversaries, I picked one for that as well too, and for the breakups. And I'll go ahead and show you how to make them. So the first cocktail that I want to share with you is going to be the Love Potion number 9. As Claire indicated in her book, Romantic Cocktails, Love Potion number 9 is a drink that can be attributed to new love interest situations one can find themselves this Valentine's Day. So to break down the ingredient list, we're going to need some grapefruit juice for this cocktail, some peach liqueur. Here I have a Montbisseau on hand. And we're going to go with some vodka as well too. Some Tito's, can't go wrong with Tito's. For the garnish, you're going to need some strawberries. And you're also going to need some sugar to rim your martini glass, which is also the glass that you're going to need for this cocktail. Here, I basically already wet it with some grapefruit juice. Alright, and we're just going to go ahead and rim the glass. And you just want to give it a couple taps just to get the excess off. Alright, and we're just going to put the glass to the side. And so you just want to start off with the cheapest ingredient just in case you mess up. You could basically save some money on the mistakes that you're going to be making. So in this case, we're going to start off with 3 ounces of grapefruit juice. Alright, and next up, you're going to need half an ounce of peach liqueur. You'll have to excuse me, the cap was still, it's a brand new bottle, so I needed to kind of get the wrapping off. Half an ounce of peach liqueur. Excuse my OCD. Alright, and for vodka, we're going to need 1.5 ounces of vodka. So after you've added your vodka, you're just going to add some ice to your small tin and get your large tin. Give it a nice little pop to get the lock in. All right, and next up you got the standard shake. If I were to give you a time, I'd say probably around 10 to 15 seconds, but in all honesty, it's just until you feel the frost on your shaker tins. All right, and you're just going to pop open your tins. The tools needed to serve your drink is going to be a hawthorn strainer and a fine mesh strainer. So we're just going to position our martini glass. All right, and you're just going to get your hawthorn strainer, sit it on top of your small shaking tin, and really try to close the lip of the shaker tin as much as you can, and hover your fine mesh strainer over your serving glass. So in the fine mesh strainer, you are going to have some ice shards that are going to hold some liquid. You just want to give a couple taps in, kind of do some shaking up and down just so you can get some of the liquid. The ice shards, again, fine mesh strainer is definitely going to be crucial in this step, just so there's no dilution in your cocktail. With whatever small trace amounts that ice could transfer over, you're just going to need both of these strainers to just kind of get the full experience of the cocktail. So now we're just going to go into the garnish. You're just going to do an angled slit on our strawberry. All right, and just fit the slit opening on the rim of your martini glass. And there you have it, the Love Potion number 9. So in regards to the tasting notes of this cocktail, on the nose, you'll get a combination of citrus and floral notes. You'll get some whiffs of the oils from the freshly squeezed grapefruit. On the palate, you get this sweet flavor profile, moderate acidic profile, a soft alcohol presence. Overall, the Love Potion number 9 is a light and refreshing drink to calm the nerves and keep a cool flow with your new crush. Next up, the next cocktail that I want to share with you is called Light My Fire. We're now dealing with a sweet, spicy, and tart cocktail that is a step up from the previous drink, as the Light My Fire cocktail has some more complexity in its flavor profile, serving to complement anniversaries and celebrations. The ingredient list is as follows: lime juice, some blended mango puree, and we're going to need habanero honey syrup. And this cocktail asks for some blanco tequila. The garnish will be a lime zest over the top of our coupe glass. That will also be our serving glass. So we're just going to get our shaking tin. And we're going to start off again with the cheapest ingredient. 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. 3/4 of mango syrup. So as I hinted before, we are dealing with a more complex flavor profile. The mango puree will add some texture to this drink. So the next ingredient that we're going to be adding is the habanero honey syrup. What I could tell you about this ingredient is it consists of 1 cup of honey and 1 cup of water. After letting it simmer on top of the stovetop for about 5 minutes, you cut up, in this case I used half of a habanero pepper, and you implement it into the mixture. And lastly, we're going to add 1.5 ounces of blanco tequila. So fill up your small shaking tin with some ice, pop together your large and small tin, and give it a nice little standard shake till you feel the frost on the tins. So as I've mentioned before, to have minimal dilution in our cocktail and experience the full flavor profile, we're going to use a hawthorn strainer and a fine mesh strainer. So we'll run into the situation that we'll have some ice shards in our fine mesh strainer. So you go ahead and give it a couple taps and a little bit of up and down motion to really get that liquid in and get the most of your cocktail. So the garnish of this cocktail is a lime zest. So I cut up a little lime disc, and you're just going to go ahead and express the oils over the cocktail. Discard your garnish afterwards, and there you have it, the Light My Fire. So going over the tasting notes of this cocktail, on the nose, you get the sting from the habanero, you get the freshness coming from the mango, and you get the notes of warm spices from the honey. On the palate, you get the slight sweetness hitting the front of the palate. In the middle, you get the slight tartness profile from the lime. And towards the end, you get this warm alcohol presence that lingers in the chest, that I believe is a back and forth from the habanero and the blanco tequila. Overall, Light My Fire is a well-balanced cocktail that adds dimension to your special occasion. And there you have it, the Light My Fire. Last but not least, the last cocktail that I want to share with you is called I Love You Like a Punch in the Head. This drink is attributed to Beckley Franks, a bartender at the Pontiac Bar in Hong Kong. And if the name gives any indication, this is definitely a cocktail that serves as a liquid band-aid for breakups and broken hearts. The ingredients are as follows. We're going to need some egg white, some lemon juice, rich simple syrup, which consists of 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of water. Let that simmer over the stovetop, and overall you're going to get a thicker syrup. Next, this drink is asking for some tequila. In this case, I'm using some Reposado tequila, Jose Cuervo, and some mezcal. Montalban is what I have in my bar. Now I want to add some context into this next ingredient. The original asks for Beshkarovka, which is a herbal liqueur from the Czech Republic. Since I was pressed on time, I used an alternative that I actually already had in my bar, which is the California Glog. Both share cinnamon, ginger, and cloves, the difference being the Beshkarovka is a herbal liqueur and the California Glog is actually mulled wine that originates from Sweden. And lastly, we're going to need Angostura bitters as one part of the garnish and a grapefruit peel for the zest. So let's get started. Now, this drink, we're not going to start off with our small shaking tin. We're actually going to start with a large shaking tin, as this helps us continue with our rule of starting with the cheapest ingredient first. This cocktail starts off with patience. As you could see, you don't want to get the yolk in our drink. We're just going to need the egg white, so you just want to kind of maneuver around that. So now that we have the egg white prepped, we move it to the side and we get a small shaker tin and continue on with 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of rich simple syrup, next up we're going to need 3/4 of an ounce of tequila, and it's going to go for 3/4 of an ounce of mezcal. And we're just going to add 1 teaspoon of our California Glog. So we're now going to do something called a dry shake, and what that means is instead of adding ice, we actually let all the ingredients that we put in our small shaker tin sit and marinate with the egg white and let it basically burn the egg white. And you're going to perform a maneuver called a whip shake. The objective of this shake is to really shake vigorously and really burn the egg white, and from here you're actually building up the froth. So the next step is to open up your tins, and now is where you're going to transfer the contents that's in the large shaker tin to go over into the small shaker tin, and you're going to fill that tin up with ice. So you're going to give it a second shake, and then in this case this is just going to be a standard shake. So after performing your second shake, you're just going to pop open your tin. Alright, and get your coupe glass. And we're going to need our Hawthorne strainer and our fine mesh strainer for this drink. In this case, if it's not going to be the ice shards, it's definitely going to be the froth. So again, patience, really want to get the most out of your cocktail, so don't want to have any leftover. So the last thing that this drink needs is some bitters and some grapefruit zest. This is me, wish me luck, actually attempting to do some bitter art. So you just get into your Angostura bitter and get a dropper. The froth from the egg white is our canvas, and the toothpick is our paintbrush. Please let me know in the comments if you see two broken hearts, as that is what my intent was. And last but not least, you get your grapefruit peel and just express the oils on top of the drink. And there you have it. I love you like a punch in the head. Now to discuss the tasting notes of this cocktail. On the nose, the grapefruit zest really helps to bring life to this cocktail. The Angostura bitters that sits on the froth gives us some vanilla sweet aromatics. On the palate, you get this moderate to full sweet profile. The alcohol presence clocks in with a smooth profile. Case in point, the earthiness and smokiness from the mezcal is toned down, but still packs a punch with the support of the tequila. There's a full body here due in part to the combination of the rich simple syrup and egg white. Overall, this is the liquid band-aid you didn't know you needed.